Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino does another Pokemon tier list. This time we're doing rock types. There's only a couple more to go and rock types is one of them. So there's way more like good rock types than you would think. Or like you probably don't even think about it. It's not one of those types that seems like it's all that badass or that it seems like it has really cool designs, but it is. Like just looking at this swath of dudes here, I'm seeing lots of S's and A's. And only a couple F's, but we're gonna start with, left, working our way to the right, as usual. Alolan Golem, we put him in, like, B or A tier in electric types. I would say, I would put him in B, as far as rock types go. And then regular Golem pretty much also goes in B. I don't see a big difference between them as far as what I like about them. They're still... the stuff like they're, still quad weak to ground, but I think Alolan Golem gets like Magnet Rise or something, so that's at least something. But, yeah. Anyway, it's just about how I like them, and I like them pretty much the same amount. I think this is a worthy Alolan type, and it doesn't change much about what's going on, but it's cool. It's it's not like a bad Alolan form, if you ask me. Then we have Onyx, who is F tier, as he was in the ground type thing. He's just a horrible Pokemon, horrible attack, good defense, not too slow either, considering the average speed of rock types, but that's fine. We've got the original like gold and silver like Slowpoke well theme going on in the background right now. It also is it's in Mount Mortar or Dark Cave, Slowpoke Well, and it's other places. I think it might be the Ice Path as well. But I vastly prefer this original theme over the one that they made it in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games. They made it a lot more like tribal sounding and soft, like with like bongos and like bells and stuff instead of just like I like the chiptune version better. It has more oomph to it, which maybe makes it less atmospheric, but I still think that's fine. Let's see. Then we got Rhydon and then Rhyperior. Like, Rhydon is A tier and Rhyperior is A tier. Rhyperior is not that much better than Rhydon, stat-wise, but, like, I will put them both in A tier because they are both pretty good Pokemon to have, and I enjoy them. Amistar, S tier. Instant S tier. Lord Helix, we're all done with that, so like it's kind of annoying when anybody says that now, but still, I don't know. There's some of you are still believers out there. Twitch Plays Pokemon was like 5 years ago. That was a long time ago. But, well, I don't know what exactly it was. 2014? I don't know. I don't know what it was. And then we ran it. Did they even do like the later Pokemon games that have released? Like, is there going to be a Twitch Plays Sword and Shield? I don't know. Who knows? But I kind of fell off that. Well, I mean, I never watched it. I watched the Twitch Plays Pokemon for like 5 seconds, and I was like, I don't know who would watch this. I don't know who would... I sort of understand participating in it, but also that must have just made you want to kill yourself. Like, every time somebody opened up the bag and tried to use the Helix fossil, like, you're not banging your head against the wall? How is that a positive experience for anybody involved? It just seems like a gigantic way to lose brain cells. Kabutops, I wish Kabutops was better, but it's not. It's a cool looking Pokemon. It's sort of like the Scyther of rock types, but just less effective. Maybe it's gotten better in modern times. I feel like it needs some signature moves, like, or it needs like a rock type move that makes use of the scythes. It needs like some kind of... Galarian Kabutops could have like a chance to be something. I want Galarian everything. It's like a meme now. It's like, I want a Galarian form of this. You'll get a Galarian form. You'll get a Galarian form. Like, do that. Just do all of it. I'm totally down. I want all 800 Pokemon to be Galarian forms. And just every generation past that, just add a new regional variant to every single Pokemon. I'm down. I'm good for it. Aerodactyl is gonna be A tier. Don't need to think about it too much. Is better than Golem. Yes. I'm not gonna say only because Well, yeah, okay, I mean, looking at this list, like, yeah, one of the only fast rock types. There's not very many. So, good job, Aerodactyl, on that one. Ooh, Sudowoodo, dude, Sudowoodo's a tough one, because I like, it's like a meme Pokemon, right? Like, Sudowoodo is sort of like a joke Pokemon that is kind of pointless, but, like, you know, it's like they made the Pokemon just to be an obstacle, and that was its only role, and then once that's fulfilled, it's like, Sudowoodo, they threw him to the curb, and they were like, Sudowoodo, nobody cares about you anymore. No one's ever gonna use you, ever. And I don't know, like, seems like it would be rock grass type, but it's not. It's a rock that pretends to be a tree. You know, Galarian Sudowoodo, actual rock grass type. Sudowoodo identifies as a plant and actually gets, like, I don't know, surgery to get it actually done. You know, it's a real hero story. Or it's a real triumph of personal growth or whatever. Sudowoodo is B tier alongside Golem. If you've actually used Sudowoodo, he's not that bad, but he's not that good either. Like he can do some stuff. He should have an evolution. He should have or a Galarian form or both. You know, give him the Linoon treatment. There's like 90. There's at least 90 Pokemon in this series that could really use the Linoon treatment. Shuckle, I don't know, some people like Shuckle, I don't. Shuckle's D tier. Yeah, he's the strongest Pokemon under a very specific set of circumstances that are impossible to actually implement in a real battle with someone who's actively trying to defeat you. Yeah. I'm not a tank person. And I'm not, like, a setup person, and this is both of those things. Like, you have to set up and you have to tank. So it's just a horrible situation for somebody like me. So you go into D tier. Magcargo is also D tier. Dude, I wish Magcargo could be anything, but it's not. Galarian Magcargo, let's get it going! Dude, I will take Ice Rock type Magcargo for, like, Galarian. That would also be horrible, battle-wise. But, like... Or do, like, Electric Rock. Ooh, that would be something. Electric Rock, and then it's, like, super fast now. And so that would be cool. Dude, the Theory Craft on, like, any of these forms is just, like, infinite. It's actually infinite, and that's why Game Freak is never gonna run out of ideas. People have been saying since Generation 2 that Game Freak has run out of ideas. It's like, oh, really? Then why do we still have Pokemon games coming out? Is it because they ran out of ideas, or does that make no sense at all? You know... It's fine. Or you could even do like Water Rock and like have some Steam action coming on. Steam. But they already sort of have... There's a new like Rock type Pokemon that's sort of like Steam based. Like if you use Water type moves on it, then something happens. And I don't know. It's like a rock... It's rock, but it's like Steam based, so it has like fire and water properties as well. But it's pure Rock type, so... I don't know. We'll see what that evolves into. Maybe it evolves into like one of their two elements. But Steam has always been like, and Volcanion is another example of that, where you take like fire and water and put them together. And like Steam as an element has been underutilized, if you ask me. And so has Smoke, by the way. Like the only Pokemon that's really embodied Smoke for me is Salazzle, because like fire and poison, you combine those two things. That's basically what Smoke is. It's a poisonous. You know, smog that came from fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So it's like, I want to see more steam-based Pokemon, and I want to see more smoke-based Pokemon. And like, Salazzle isn't even smoke-based, but it's just that the fact that fire and poison together. Like, we need a smoke Pokemon that is fire poison. I would applaud that tremendously. And I mean, you know, like coughing and wheezing are smoke, but they're only poison. That's kind of a missed opportunity if you think of like Galarian Weezing is fairy type now instead of poison fire, and then they really like went ham on the smog aspects. But that's fine. We're not talking about that. We're talking about rock types right now. So Corsola, you go straight into F tier. No need to be talking about anything regarding to that. Why does Corsola exist? First of all, you gotta surf all the way to Pacific Log Town, and then that's like the only place they show up is if you fish for them or like on one of the surf tiles. Or any of the surf tiles, to get Corsola. Like, why would you want Corsola? It's horrible. Regenerator is a great ability, but it's wasted on Corsola. You know, me and Xiao gets Regenerator, so good for him. That's another reason why me and Xiao is an S-tier fighting type. But yeah, Corsola is completely worthless. And you know, a Galarian form wouldn't save you. An evolution wouldn't save you. You would still be awful. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Tyranitar is... It's S-tier. Like, Tyranitar is like your stereotypical cool Pokemon. Like, badass, you know, like, it's the Charizard of Gen 2, in my estimation. Like, just the whole, like, monster sort of, like, cool, like, oh, isn't this amazing looking, like, badass thing, you know? And so, like, I agree with that. I don't like it as much as other people like it, but I do like it. I've had very few opportunities to use it. But they've been really, like, showing off Tyranitar and Larvitar and just that line in the Sword and Shield promos. Like, you see that Pokemon show up all the time. So it's like, dude, you probably can catch Larvitar early on in this game, I bet, in Sword and Shield. And that'll be good. I'll enjoy doing that when I run out of, like, new Pokemon to train. Because, you know, when I get Sword and Shield, every Pokemon's going to be a new Pokemon. That's how you get it. Until I run out of new Pokemon. And then we'll see, like, what else is there to, like, keep going through and doing stuff. But, yeah, Tyranitar, really good, super bulky, as it needs to be, being a Rock-Dark type who has so many weaknesses. Water, ground, fighting as a quad, bug, fairy, grass, I know there's another one. Steel. That's like 8 weaknesses. Or 7 or 8 weaknesses. That's almost half the entire roster is strong against this dude. So that's tough, but, you know, he's bulky to make that happen not as often. Or to make it not as huge of a deal, I guess. Or what's that ability that, like, Solid Rock, isn't it? That, like, lowers the effectiveness of super effective moves? I don't know if he gets that ability, but he should. That would be really helpful for him. Then we have Nosepass, who is F tier. It's, you know, it's not good. It's not good. And then you go straight to Probopass, who is D tier. It's a little better than Nosepass. It adds the Steel type, gets it a little more, yeah, I don't know. Adding Steel to Rock gives you more, not very effectivenesses, but it also really heightens your disadvantages, you know? A lot of stuff that's good against Rock is also good against Steel, like Fighting, and that's it. And Ground. So, those are 2 things. And then, you know, you get rid of the fire or you turn fire into a basic hitting thing, and then you also make... Steel is probably an upgrade. Rock Steel is probably an upgrade over Rock, but, you know, it comes with its weakness. The weaknesses that it also comes with are pretty glaring. Then we go Agron, who's another Rock Steel, but this is an example of how you do a Rock Steel properly, because Agron is a beast. Agron is a monster, and they did not put Mega Agron in this tier list, or in this little situation here. Oh, but maybe that's because, oh yeah, it turns into just Steel type at that point, I think. I think that's the deal. Yeah, because they have Mega Tyranitar. That's right, I've used Mega Agron, and I was like, it's only Steel type at that point. Which, that sort of invalidates the whole, like, if you're giving it, like, Stone Edge and stuff, it's like, is that even good? Like, you lose the stab on your Rock type moves. And then it gets Filter as an ability, which lowers the effectiveness of super effective moves, so that's another cool thing. The Filter is like the Steel type version of Solid Rock, I believe. Then we have Lunatone and Solrock, which are both C tier. Solrock is probably a little bit better than Lunatone, but they're, you know, not enough to, like, be a different tier going on with it. I want some Galarian, I want some evolutions. I don't need a Galarian form, but evolutions for these 2 would be fantastic. I would really appreciate both of that. You know, these should be the mascots for Sun and Moon, man. Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, and they completely missed the opportunity to bring back the actual Sun and Moon Pokemon from Gen 3. Missed opportunity, man. Then we have Cradily. Cradily, as far as rock types go, I'll put it in B tier. I think it's better than that. I know it is, but I don't like it. So that's what you do. And then Armaldo is A tier. Of the two of these Pokemon, I prefer Armaldo. You know, good physical attack, really good physical attack. And it looks pretty nice. You know, ask me why a North learns Water Gun as one of its early moves. I have no idea, but that's a thing for some reason. Then you have Relicanth, who is F tier. Just there's no point for this Pokemon to exist. This Pokemon only exists as a puzzle piece to get one of the Regis. I don't remember which one. One of the Regirock, Regice, Registeel things. Because it's like, you need to have a Relicanth in the 3rd slot and a Wailord in the last slot. And then you use Strength on the back of the wall or something like that. You know, I remember doing those things. And like looking them up. But yeah, it's like, dude, who would ever think that that's the case? Relicanth. What a waste of a Pokemon. Maybe they'll make it better. Galarian Relicanth. Dude, any Pokemon that's not S tier, give it a Galarian form and make it S tier. That would be great. Speaking of Regirock, all the Regis they're all really, they're D tier. Like, they're not, they look cool, but they're not formidable at all. I do like the whole Braille aspect of them. That was cool. Like, I almost learned Braille. Like, I used to know all of the Braille letters just so that I could figure out and, like, read stuff. Like, I studied it for a while, and then I lost all that information. But while I had it, I was feeling pretty cool about myself. I was like, dude, if I ever meet a blind person, then I can just, like, speak Braille to them, because Braille's a language somehow. Rampardos is S tier. Rampardos is a beast! Oh, it's one of the best rock types ever. I don't know if it's underrated, actually, but, like, it's, you know, imagine Tauros, but way better and rock type. That's what Rampardos is. Rampardos one-shots everything. Rampardos is a rampaging beast, hence the ramp part of the name. And it's fantastic. Like, Jesus. Like, it's the best fossil Pokemon by a mile. Although you could argue that Archeops is better when it's not lower than full health, which is, or lower than half health, which is, you know, you can argue that, but also I'm pretty sure that if you put Rampardos up against an Archeops, that Rampardos would win. Although Archeops can learn Earthquake. But I think, I don't know, Rampardos, one of the issues with Rampardos is that its defense is actually pretty low for a rock type, so it's a glass cannon type of rock type, but I appreciate that it exists. It's just a real monster, and it's really fun to play with. One of my favorite rock types, for sure. But there's a lot of tremendously fantastic rock types in this game, and you wouldn't know it unless you like sat down and made a tier list like this. Meanwhile, Bastionon is C tier. I like the look of it. It looks cool. I do like it. That whole, like, shield head thing that it's got going on, it's like, damn. That tower shield action, I like that. Dude, this is another shield Pokemon. Why is Pokemon's... Oh, no, yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield on. That wasn't a joke. That was... I actually just had a run-on sentence form in my head, and it didn't... And it sounded like it was a joke. I didn't mean to say it like that. Pokemon Sword and Shield, and then Shieldon is, like, a cool representative of that. I wonder if we'll get to get Shieldon in that game. I don't know. Oh, dude, Bonsly. Baby version of Sudowoodo. But, like, this doesn't make Sudowoodo relevant at all, because Sudowoodo has no part of this, really. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness introduced Bonsly before Generation 4 even came out. They got, like, rights to it, which was kind of interesting. It's like, oh, Bonsly. It's a, baby bonsai tree. Baby form of Sudowoodo, but it didn't make Sudowoodo anything. It was just like a baby thing, and like this had nothing to do with Sudowoodo. You just chased it around, and then it was whatever, you know. It doesn't get its own slot. Bonsly is like permanently crying, which is really unfortunate that that's the case. Like, why did you make a Pokemon that's just clinically depressed all the time? This is very triggering to a lot of human beings who are also that, I assume. Otherwise, Gigalith, S tier. Gigalith, another monster. I love Gigalith. Pure rock type, which I like. I prefer pure rock types over rock ground types. because rock ground types get way worse weaknesses. But pure rock types can still, and they're so good. Dude, have you used Gigalith? Gigalith using Stone Edge kills everything. It can learn Earthquake. It doesn't get stabbed from Earthquake, which is one of the bonuses that rock ground types do have over regular rock types, but it's still going to be super strong. Gigalith is a beast. It is a beast, and it definitely deserves S tier for sure. Crustle is A tier. I think Crustle is one of the better bug types ever. I think it's got really good stuff going on. It can Shell Smash, and like it's sort of fast enough to really make that work. Depending on, you know, it can, like, it can, if it Shell Smashes, it's faster than like 90% of Pokemon. So that's good for it. And, you know, it's really strong otherwise, so like that makes it super big, huge threat. So that's really cool. If it can set up Shell Smash twice, it's just game over. But yeah, it's really good. It's really, I don't know if it's underrated. I don't know how people feel about a lot of these Pokemon, but like Crustle is so good for a bug type. So I put it in A tier there. Then we've got Caracosta, who is another Shell Smash type. I'll put it in B tier alongside, like, you know, the Golems. The Golem and Sudowoodo of the world. That's right, Pokemon is singular and plural is the same. There's no such thing as Pikachus. It's Pikachu. And, like, they do that in the Detective Pikachu movie, too, and that really bothered me. It's like, do you not know the rules? I don't understand, but it's fine. Yeah, it's like they just threw that rule out the window. It's like, it's a rule that, like, nobody has ever been able to pick up on and get accustomed to, because it just goes against the English language, I guess. But there's other words that are plural without being having an S at the end, aren't there? I can't think of a single example, but I know that they exist. For sure they do. Look at all the wiring. Ah, there you go, wiring is one. Why did that come to my head? I don't know, but it worked. Look at all the wiring over there. You don't say, look at all the wirings over there. Sorry, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. And then Archeops is S tier. Archeops is S tier. You know, when you get into defeatist mode, it becomes like C tier, but definitely S tier at the beginning. And I mean, like, it's just a beat. You give it acrobatics, like, it's just gonna kill everything. As long as you're not holding stuff. Or you could give it a citrus berry, like if you, as sort of like a insurance policy against being lowered to half health, because then you eat the citrus berry and that puts you right back up again. So that's neat. That can be a good way to prevent that from happening. Terrakion looks pretty BA. It's A tier. I'll give it A tier there for rocks. As far as rock goes, you can have that. Then we have Barbaracle, which is just one of the most disgusting Pokemon ever made. But, like, I'm pretty sure it's good, though, is the problem. Like, I'm pretty sure that its stats are pretty good, and that it can do stuff, and is, like, a good Pokemon to use. So I'll put it in C tier. You know, Water Rock, if we're comparing it to the likes of Kabutops, it looks way worse than Kabutops, but it is more effective than Kabutops, battle-wise. So all that balances out, creates this medium level of C tier that it can go into. Dude, this has been an extremely balanced list so far. Rock is pretty solid. Then we've got, Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum goes right into S tier as well. Rock Dragon type, one of the coolest Pokemon. Tyrantrum is like the next level of Rampardos, except it's not as strong as Rampardos, but it is bulkier than Rampardos. And just having that Dragon type, having a Rock Dragon type. Is it the first Rock Dragon type? I think it is. But it's just like, I don't know, like this is peak Pokemon performance right here. Like, this is peak what you want a Pokemon to look like if you want it to be very intimidating and very cool and very effective at the same time. Like, Tyrantrum is just good like that. So I put that into S tier. And then you already know I put Aurorus, excuse me, Aurorus. I put Aurorus in S tier. because Aurorus is... I'm just so used to saying Amora every time that I'm, like, referring to this line that I completely forgot what the evolution is called, but it's Aurorus. So Aurorus is... I mean, these two together are the best fossil Pokemon that there has ever been. Like, I think I just said that about Cranidos, but this is the best pairing. So, like, you know, if you're comparing sets of fossils, Aurorus and Tyrantrum, I keep trying to say Tyranitar. Tyrantrum are, like, the best pairing, like, you combine them. Because, you know, your other ones are, like, Amistar and Kabutops, and Amistar is really good, but Kabutops isn't. And then the next set of fossils is... I don't even remember what the Gen 2 fossils are, if there even are Gen 2 fossils. And then Gen 3 is Armaldo and Cradily, and Armaldo's pretty good, but Cradily I don't like that much. And then Gen 4 fossils, Cranidos is amazing, but Bastionon really, like, puts the nail in the coffin on that one, balancing them out. And then Gen 5 fossils, Archeops, and... who's the other one? Oh, and Caracosta is the other one. Caracosta kind of, you know, lowers that. So, like, Gen 6 has both of these, like, so good that I love. So, I think those are the best fossils. What's next? Then we have... yeah, I talked way more about Aurorus in the Ice-type tier list. So, like, if you hadn't seen that one. Oh, and so, again, yeah, Amora has to have their own slot because Amora is the most adorable Pokemon the world has ever seen. Or will ever see. I don't know, I don't see anything ever beating Amora. I don't know how you can make a cuter Pokemon. I straight up don't understand how that would even be possible. But maybe they'll surprise me, who knows? None of the new Sun and Moon, or Sword and Shield Pokemon look particularly cute to me. Like, cute isn't the word. People like Yamper, but I don't think Yamper's, like, that cute. I think its face looks too weird to be that. Like, Yamper certainly doesn't compare to Rockruff, for instance, which is the same type of deal, as far as, like, a small dog-type Pokemon that's gonna be a lot of people's companions, you know, loyalty, stuff like that. Because, you know, Sword and Shield is more focused on making the waifus cute than the Pokemon, and they are really succeeding in that department. Then we've got Carbink. I used to think that there was no reason for Carbink to exist, and then you watch the Diancie movie, and it's like, oh, Carbink is basically just like the foot soldiers of Diancie, like the princess of the kingdom and stuff. So Carbink is horrible still, though, so it's F tier. Diancie is pretty cool. I'll put it in A tier. I like how Diancie is. I like the stuff behind it. It's pretty nice, if you ask me. What is the difference between these two Lycanrocks, like this orange one and the midday form? Because there's the midnight form and then there's the midday form. I prefer the midday form. The midnight one looks too evil for me. Like, I don't know. Like, you know, you imagine using midnight form in a battle and being like, whoa, wow, that's cool. But then, like, what are you going to do with it outside a battle? Like, how are you going to feed it? How are you going to take care of it and spend time with it? Like, you're not just going to be scared shitless of this thing? It's a werewolf. Like, it's going to kill you. Is this just, like, shiny Lycanroc? Or is this, like, some kind of special, like, event Lycanroc? Maybe it was an event one. Maybe it's, like, Ash Greninja. Or, I don't know. But suffice to say, I will put midday Lycanroc in S tier, because I think it's really good. I'm going to put midnight Lycanroc in A tier, because it's also good, but it's scary, and I don't like the design as much. So we'll do it like that. And then Rockruff is S tier by itself, because Rockruff has, like, Amora syndrome, where it's so cute that it's enough to distinguish itself from its ancestors, or, like, its evolutions. So, like, that's definitely the case. Next up, we have Minior, which I just talked about in the flying one. Minior is surprisingly good. It doesn't look like it would be good, but it is pretty good. I'm gonna put it in A tier. And then I wish they had one of its, like, unencased forms on here, so you could see, like, what it looks like on the inside, which is also pretty cute. Like, it's just, like it's this burst of cosmic energy that just kind of floats around. It's kind of nice. I like it. And it comes in different colors. Mine was orange. I believe it comes in like purple and maybe like blue as well. I know there's a few. So yeah. Then we've got... Oh, and then we're just down into Ultra Beast territory. Nihilego, aren't you? You're rock poison, aren't you? You're like the jellyfish. I'll put you... As far as Ultra Beasts go, like, this is probably one of the better looking Ultra Beasts, because it actually has a cohesive design, you know, like all the body parts fit together for one. That's a big deal now. And, I think it looks pretty cool. I know the Ultra Beasts are supposed to be like aliens, and so they're supposed to look sort of off-worldish, and, you know, not really human. Like, you know, you're not gonna see eyes on one, or you're not gonna see, like... I don't know, they just have extraterrestrial aspects to them, so I understand that. But some of them look so damn weird that it's like, come on. Like this, for instance, this is just a rook. This is a rook on legs. This is a chimney on legs. This is a gravestone on legs. This is a walking bunker. I don't understand. How is this alive? How does this have a brain? How would you feed this thing? How does this thing sit down to, like, eat out of a pet bowl? Like, here, whatever your name is, come have some food, and it's like, oh, yay, it, like, lumbers over on its four legs, crushes, like, trees on its way over there, kills its trainer in the process. Oops, I didn't see you there. So, yeah, definitely weird. But rock types have turned out to be a very balanced type, as far as, like, having a decent amount of Pokemon in every tier for me. But really, the most of which are in the SNAs, like if you see here. Like, there's definitely way more SNA tiers than any of the other tiers. So rock type as a whole is a very solid type. Solid. And so S tier we have, to do the rundown, we got Amistar, Tyranitar, Rampardos, Gigalith, Archeops, Tyrantrum, Aurorus, Amora, of course, Midday Lycanroc, and regular Rockruff. And then in F tier, we just have Onyx, Cressola, Nosepass, Relicanth, and Carbink. That's pretty good. You know, good balance, good stuff going on. But that's gonna do it for this tier list. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. All that's left to do is Dragon, right? But like, is this episode 17? If this is episode 17, then yes, all there is left to do is Dragon, because there's 18 types. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino, and I'll see you guys next time.